Thanks for tuning into Ranger Rex. I'm Zath, and today I'll be talking to you about DC vs. Vampires, a new limited series from DC Comics, written by James Tyron and Matthew Rosenberg, with art by Otto Schmidt. All artwork shown is owned by its respective creators. This title was originally on my pickup list because of Otto Schmidt's art. His Green Arrow Rebirth run is absolutely beautiful. DC vs. Vampires debuted in October of 2021 and is currently slated for a 12-issue run. Some things are better to experience yourself, so I will do my best to avoid major spoilers for this issue. Now, with that all out of the way, let's talk about DC vs. Vampires. I originally caught a glimpse of this series cover on social media and was immediately drawn to the fact that Otto Schmidt was once again drawing Green Arrow. I was a huge fan of the Green Arrow Rebirth series, and loved how he drew both Green Arrow and Black Canary. So I was all ready to jump on board from the artwork alone. Throw that in with a story about vampires with potentially other DC characters, I was ready to start reading. I used to be a pretty big comic book fan, and collected and read several ongoing series. But in recent years, I've been enjoying the limited series more than trying to jump back on longer series. Longer series are hard to follow given the significant changes made throughout the story depending on who is writing at the time. I still feel betrayed about what happened to the Super Sons, John Kent and Damian Wayne, and I'm not sure I will ever be able to forgive that in continuity comics at large. On the flip side, a short-run Elseworld series where anything goes? I'm here for it. The story starts us off with Andrew Bennett bandaged up and monologuing in front of the Hall of Justice. Bennett is a DC character from I, Vampire, who has taken many forms throughout the years in comics. There is a nice reference to his main comics where he says, I, Vampire, am being hunted, during his dialogue. It is surprising to see him so afraid and clearly on the run and in disguise. Andrew has a dire message for the Justice League, but unfortunately they are all off-world except for Green Lantern Hal Jordan and Zahn, one of the Wonder Twins. Andrew explains that Mary, Queen of the Blood, whose rule is law among the vampires, and who has kept them away from humans, has been killed. Andrew thinks he has tracked her killer to be a member of the League of Doom, but when he went inside their headquarters, he finds them all murdered by vampires. Further, he discovers a vampire plot to destroy the entire human race. Anything goes as our DC heroes try to figure out just who is leading this vampire invasion, and who is friend and foe. To me, the series reminds me of an episode of the Justice League animated show. Each issue leaves me on the edge of my seat. As I talked about previously, Otto Schmidt's art style sells this darker series with its high stakes. I think the writers have paved the way for a compelling story where anything can happen. This leaves the reader guessing where the story will go next. I think that's one of the best things about these short standalone series. There is no status quo, no greater continuity it has to keep in line with, and room for the story to grow beyond DC canon. There are currently 10 issues of the main series released with a couple of spin-offs. Some of these spin-offs include a series called DC vs. Vampires, All Out War, that follows closely to John Constantine as he plans a suicide mission. DC vs. Vampires Killers, which follows Harley Quinn, and my favorite of the spin-offs, DC vs. Vampires Hunters, which centers around Robin, Damian Wayne, after things happen. I highly recommend you only read Hunters after you finish reading issue 6, or you will be heavily spoiled for the main series. In fact, I recommend you wait to read any of these spin-offs until you've read at least to issue 6. Honestly, I have a few criticisms for this series so far. I feel as though the series could have been longer than 12 issues. It would have been nice to see more of a build-up of the investigation period at the start of the series, and more backstory into specific events. I even would have liked to see some other characters make an appearance. But this doesn't really take away from enjoying the series overall. I like that we get to see a wide cast of characters, some of whom take on different roles than usual. We also get to see some characters that don't get a lot of spotlight normally, which allows us to see how they adapt to this ever-changing world. This series gets a solid 5 out of 5 stars from me, and I'll be on the edge of my seat awaiting the final volumes to see how the final confrontation goes down. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you're currently reading this series, let me know what you think in the comments below. How does it rank among other DC Limited series? I'll see you all in the next video. I'm Zath. Have a good day.